Are you inspired? It's Pentecost, the birthday of our church, and really a feast of the Spirit. How the Spirit came down upon the disciples. And I think about that, and I don't know about you, but I am always looking for inspiration. Always looking for inspiration. Looking for inspiration in our parish on what we can do to bring more people in, what we can do to welcome people into our parish. I'm always looking for inspiration. I'm always looking for inspiration of how our parish can grow our faith better, how we can develop our faith on a deeper level. I'm always looking for inspiration of how we could be reaching the poor better and helping the poor better. I'm always asking the question, what if? What if we did it this way? What if we did it that way? Always looking for inspiration in what in my homilies are what to say to the parish. And I look to the gifts of the Spirit. I don't realize it a lot that I'm doing that, but I look to the gifts of the Spirit. Just some of them I think of, looking for the gift of understanding, looking for the gift of knowledge, looking for the gift of wisdom, looking for the gift of counsel from other people. All these things I'm constantly looking for in my life. And it's really fun in our life when that lightning bolt strikes and we have the idea. I think about that and those aha moments. And those are great and awesome when that aha moment happens. I got one of my, I think about those aha moments when, I was writing my papers, and I always struggled with writing my papers and always felt like I had to come up with these original ideas when I was writing a term paper. Until one of the teachers told me, most of your paper really should just be quoting, at least in the beginning, quoting sources and different sources and getting different ideas, and it should consist of a lot of notes in that and not so much of our own thoughts. And when he said that, a light bulb came on in my head, and I realized, wow, this is a lot easier than I thought. Those are great times. But a lot of times, though, the Spirit comes by plugging away at it. Just plugging away in our work. I was this guitarist was talking about how he was trying to come up with a guitar solo for a song. And he looked to be inspired, and he went outside to look at the full moon. It was late at night, and there was nothing but clouds blocking the moon. And so he went back in, and all he could do was plug away at it. And it wasn't the most spectacular solo, but the song itself and the guitarist and all the other musicians working together created a wonderful song and very endeared by the fans. I think about that, how plugging away at the Spirit. We hear about the disciples in Scripture today, and we hear how they were inspired, how they worked together, how they had courage. And I think that they had courage because they worked together as a group. It's not like, they had this huge group, but they had this kernel of people that they surrounded themselves with that supported them. They knew the crowds wouldn't support them, but they went to those groups of people, and they were able to go out and preach the good news, even in the face of death. They were inspired people. Are we inspired? Are we inspired in our, I just think about it, and, if we're not inspired, we're kind of dead. We kind of know that already. You probably know that already when we're not inspired. And there are dead times in our life, don't get me wrong. But we have to keep looking for that inspiration in our spiritual life, or that inspiration in our work, or in our relationships. We have to constantly be turning to God and to that Spirit and asking for help. Just that simple word, just God help me. Let that be our prayer. God help me in what to do here. And trusting in that, not saying it in trite, but to say it like we really mean it. Help me, God. Inspire me. The Spirit is not a limited resource that can only be used so much. That so often we get confused with the world. The Spirit is overflowing, ready to be tapped, the water of life. That we may turn to that Spirit and be inspired once again in our life.